Hi, Virgo. I just pulled your energy, and what came through made me pause and smile because this is beautiful. This is genuinely beautiful. What's revealing itself is reconciliation happening, real reconciliation, not just surface level apologies or temporary truces, but deep emotional, physical, spiritual reconciliation between you and someone you've been in conflict with, someone you've had tension with, someone you've been separated from. And this reconciliation isn't just going to be words, it's going to be expressed through the most intimate form of connection possible, through making love, through physical intimacy that's loaded with emotional meaning, through bodies communicating what words couldn't fully express. And I need you to understand what's different about this. This isn't just sex. This isn't casual physical connection. This is lovemaking in its truest sense. This is two people who've been through conflict, who've experienced separation, who've hurt each other or been hurt by circumstances, coming back together and using physical intimacy to heal, to reconnect, to express everything they've been feeling, to communicate forgiveness, to demonstrate commitment, to reaffirm their bond, to make whole what was broken. This is profound. This is sacred. This is intimacy at its deepest level. So settle in. Get comfortable. Because what I'm about to walk you through is the journey from conflict to resolution, from separation to reunion, from tension to release, from words that tried and failed to communicate to bodies that will succeed where words couldn't. This is the reading about how conflict gets resolved, not just mentally or emotionally, but physically. How reconciliation manifests in the most intimate space two people can share. How love expresses itself through touch after being expressed through distance. Get ready, because this is going to be intense, beautiful, and deeply healing. Let me tell you what revealed itself first in your reading. The very first layer that came through, what's pulsating across the relational frequencies, is tension that's been building, conflict that's been unresolved, distance that's been created between you and this person. And this isn't small tension. This is real conflict, real hurt, real miscommunication or misunderstanding or mistake that created a rift. You've been separated, maybe physically separated, maybe just emotionally distant even while physically present, but there's been a wall, a barrier, space between you that wasn't there before. And both of you have been feeling it. The wrongness of the separation, the discomfort of the distance, the pain of being disconnected from someone you care about, someone you love, someone whose presence in your life matters. This hasn't been comfortable silence. This has been heavy silence, painful silence, the kind of distance that weighs on you, that you think about constantly, that makes you miss them, even when you're angry at them, even when the conflict feels unresolved, even when you don't know how to bridge the gap. I'm seeing specific conflict here, not vague tension, actual issues. For some of you, this is about miscommunication, words said in anger or frustration that hurt more than intended, meanings misunderstood, intentions misinterpreted. You tried to express something and it came out wrong, or they said something that landed differently than they meant it. And instead of clarifying, the miscommunication festered, created hurt, created distance. And now you're both holding on to pain from words that didn't accurately represent what either of you actually meant. For others, this is about betrayal or disappointment, not necessarily infidelity, but broken trust in some form. A promise not kept, an expectation not met, a boundary crossed, a need ignored, something that made you feel like they didn't value you the way you value them, or made them feel like you didn't prioritize them the way they needed to be prioritized. And that hurt created walls, created protection mechanisms, created distance designed to prevent further hurt. And now you're both protected but also isolated, safe but also lonely. The second layer revealing itself is about what's changing, why reconciliation is possible now, and what's streaming through the resolution frequencies is that the conflict has run its course, the anger has burned itself out, the hurt has been processed enough that healing is possible. Time and space and maybe growth have created conditions where reconciliation can actually happen, where both of you are ready to bridge the gap, to let go of being right, to prioritize connection over conflict, to choose each other over the issue that separated you. Someone is making the first move, reaching out, breaking the silence, initiating the conversation that starts the reconciliation process. And this first move is vulnerable, it's scary, it's risky, because they don't know if you'll respond, don't know if you're ready, don't know if the damage is too deep to repair, but they're doing it anyway. Because the pain of continued separation is worse than the risk of rejection. Because they miss you more than they care about protecting their pride. Because they love you more than they love being right. And the conversation that happens is going to be real. Honest, raw, not surface level, let's just forget about it, avoidance, but actual addressing of what happened, actual acknowledgement of hurt caused, actual accountability taken, actual listening to each other's perspectives, actual validation of each other's feelings. This is grown-up reconciliation, mature conflict resolution. Two people who care about each other enough to do the hard work of actually resolving issues instead of just sweeping them under the rug. I'm seeing apologies, real apologies, not "I'm sorry you felt that way," deflections, "but I'm sorry I hurt you. I understand why that hurt. I take responsibility for my part in this. I want to do better." Apologies that acknowledge specific actions, that validate specific hurts, that demonstrate actual understanding of impact, and these apologies are being received, being heard, being accepted, because you're both ready to move forward, ready to heal, ready to choose connection over conflict. The third layer coming through is about the shift from words to physical connection, how conversation leads to intimacy. And what's crystallizing in the intimacy frequencies is that at some point during this reconciliation conversation, words become insufficient. You're talking, you're resolving, you're reconnecting emotionally, and then there's a moment where the emotional connection needs to become physical, where talking about feelings needs to transition into expressing feelings through touch, where verbal communication needs to be supplemented by physical communication. Maybe it starts with a hand reach, one of you reaching across the space that's been between you, touching their hand, their arm, their face, breaking the physical distance that's mirrored the emotional distance. And that first touch after conflict is electric, charged, loaded with meaning. It's not just a touch, it's a bridge, a connection, a physical manifestation of "I want to close this gap between us. I want to be close to you again. I choose you." Or maybe it's a hug, one of you pulling the other into an embrace, holding them really holding them, not a polite hug, a desperate hug, a I've missed you hug, a I'm sorry hug, a let's heal this hug. And in that embrace, walls crumble, defenses drop. The armor you've both been wearing to protect yourselves from further hurt comes off. And you're just two people who care about each other, who've been hurting, who are ready to stop hurting and start healing. And from that touch, that embrace, the energy shifts from reconciliation to desire, from emotional connection to physical attraction, from I want to fix this to I want you. Because the emotional intimacy of reconciliation is creating space for physical intimacy. The vulnerability of honest conversation is creating openness for physical vulnerability. The closeness of healing is creating desire for the ultimate closeness, for making love, for expressing through bodies what's been expressed through words. The fourth energy revealing itself is about the lovemaking itself. What this intimate reunion looks like and what's radiating through the physical frequencies is intensity. This is not casual sex. This is not routine intimacy. This is loaded, meaningful, emotional. This is two people who've been separated coming back together and pouring everything they've been feeling into physical connection. Every touch is communication. Every kiss is apology or forgiveness or commitment. Every moment of intimacy is healing. It starts slow, tender, careful, because you're both still a little wounded, still a little cautious, still testing whether this is okay, whether you're both really ready for this, whether the reconciliation is solid enough to support this level of intimacy. So the touches are gentle, the kisses are soft, the progression is gradual. You're relearning each other, reacquainting yourselves with bodies, but haven't touched in however long the conflict lasted. And that relearning is sweet, is precious, is loaded with I've missed this, I've missed you. But the tenderness builds into passion. Because all the emotion that's been suppressed during the conflict needs release. All the desire that's been held back needs expression. All the love that's been trapped behind walls needs to flow. And it does, through increasingly passionate kissing, through hands that can't touch enough, through bodies that need to be as close as possible, through intimacy that's trying to erase the distance that's been between you, trying to reconnect on every level, trying to communicate you're mine and I'm yours and we're together and nothing is between us anymore. I'm seeing eye contact, sustained, intense eye contact during the lovemaking, not looking away, not closing eyes to focus on physical sensation, actually looking at each other, seeing each other, connecting soul to soul while connecting body to body. And that eye contact is communicating everything. I see you. I'm here with you. This matters. You matter. We matter. The physical intimacy is profound, but the emotional intimacy happening simultaneously is what makes this lovemaking instead of just sex. The fifth layer showing itself is about what this lovemaking resolves. What gets healed through this physical intimacy, and what's pulsating through the healing frequencies is that this intimate reunion is resolving things. Conversation alone couldn't fully resolve. Words can apologize. Words can explain. Words can create understanding. But bodies can reassure in ways words can't. Bodies can demonstrate commitment, can prove desire, can show that attraction didn't die during conflict, can communicate, I still want you, I still choose you, I still love you in every way, including physically. For whoever felt rejected or unwanted during the conflict, this lovemaking heals that. proves they're still desired, still attractive, still wanted. The passionate physical connection erases doubts that maybe crept in during separation. Maybe they wondered if you still found them attractive, if you still wanted them physically, if the conflict had killed desire, and this intimate reunion answers those questions definitively. Yes, yes, I still want you. Yes, the desire is still here. Yes, nothing about the conflict changed how much I'm attracted to you. For whoever felt disconnected or distant, this lovemaking heals that. Recreates intimacy, reestablishes bond, proves that despite conflict, despite distance, despite everything, the connection is still there, still strong, still capable of creating the kind of intimacy that makes you feel completely known and completely accepted. The physical closeness mirrors and reinforces the emotional closeness you've been rebuilding. And that dual level reconnection is healing wounds the conflict created. And for both of you, this lovemaking is sealing the reconciliation, making it real, making it complete. You can talk about forgiveness, you can verbally commit to moving forward, but there's something about physical intimacy that makes reconciliation feel permanent. That makes it feel like you've actually turned a corner, actually moved past the conflict into a new chapter. The lovemaking is punctuation on the reconciliation. The exclamation point that says, we did it, we resolved this, we're together, we're okay. The sixth energy coming through is about vulnerability and trust. What this intimate reunion requires from both of you, and what's streaming through the emotional frequencies is that this level of intimacy after conflict requires massive vulnerability, requires trusting each other again, requires letting walls down, requires being emotionally naked while being physically naked, requires risking being hurt again by opening yourself up again. And you're both taking that risk, both choosing vulnerability, both deciding trust is worth the risk. This person is vulnerable in how much they want you, how much they've missed this, how much they need this connection. They're not hiding desire, not playing it cool, not pretending they're less affected than they are. They're showing you through touch, through intensity, through passion, exactly how much you mean to them, how much this matters, how much they've craved this closeness. And that vulnerability, that openness about desire and need, it's beautiful, it's honest, it's what intimacy requires. And you're vulnerable too in allowing this, in saying yes to intimacy before every hurt is fully healed, in trusting that this reconciliation is real, in opening yourself physically while you're still a little tender emotionally, in letting them close again, in letting them touch you again, in letting yourself feel again after protecting yourself during conflict. That's brave. That's trust. That's choosing connection over safety. And that choice is what makes reconciliation possible. I'm seeing tears for some of you during the lovemaking, not sad tears, release tears, healing tears, overwhelmed tears. I can't believe we're here again. I can't believe we made it through the conflict. I can't believe this is happening. I'm so relieved. I'm so grateful. I'm so full of emotion I can't contain it. Tears that come from intensity, from meaning, from love expressing itself physically and emotionally simultaneously, and it being too much to hold without some release. The seventh layer revealing itself is about what happens after. The aftermath of this intimate reunion and What's crystallizing in the integration frequencies is peace, deep, cellular peace, the kind of peace that comes after resolution, after reconnection, after expressing love and having it received, after being vulnerable and having that vulnerability honored. You're going to lie together in that post-intimacy space and just feel how right this is, how good it feels to be close again, how much better life is with connection than with conflict. You're going to talk soft, quiet conversation, processing what just happened, affirming the reconciliation, maybe making promises about doing better going forward, maybe discussing what you've both learned from the conflict, maybe just expressing gratitude that you made it through, that you chose each other, that you're here together instead of apart. The conversation will be tender, honest, intimate in a different way than the physical intimacy was. This is emotional aftercare, verbal integration of the physical experience. And there's going to be relief, massive relief, because the conflict is over, the tension is released, the distance is closed, you're together again, really together, not just in the same space, but actually connected, actually intimate, actually in love and expressing that love and receiving that love. And that relief is going to feel like exhaling after holding your breath, like putting down weight you've been carrying, like coming home after being lost. I'm also seeing commitment strengthening. This experience of going through conflict and coming out the other side actually deepens the bond, makes it stronger, because you've both proven that the relationship can survive disagreement, can survive hurt, can survive distance, and come back together. That resilience, that ability to repair, it creates confidence, creates security, creates knowing that this relationship is solid enough to withstand challenges, that you're both committed enough to do the work when things get hard. The eighth layer showing itself is about what this means for your relationship going forward, how this intimate reconciliation changes things. And what's radiating through the future frequencies is evolution. This relationship is entering a new phase, a more mature phase, a deeper phase, because you've been through conflict and repair. You've experienced separation and reunion. You've learned how to fight and how to reconcile, and those experiences are making the relationship stronger, more resilient, more conscious. You're going to communicate better after this because you've learned what happens when communication breaks down. You've experienced the pain of miscommunication or unmet expectations or unexpressed needs, and that pain has taught you both to be more careful, more intentional, more clear, more willing to address issues early instead of letting them fester. The conflict was painful, but it was also educational, and you're both taking those lessons forward. You're going to appreciate each other more because you've experienced what it's like to be without each other, to be in conflict, to miss them, to want connection and not have it. And that absence has created appreciation for presence, for closeness, for intimacy, for all the good things about the relationship that maybe you were taking for granted before the conflict. You won't take them for granted anymore. You'll value them, cherish them, protect them, because you know now what it costs to lose them. And your intimacy is going to deepen because this experience of making love as reconciliation has shown both of you what intimacy can be, how it can heal, how it can communicate, how it can reconnect, how it can express everything words can't fully express. And that understanding is going to make you both more intentional about physical intimacy, more appreciative of it, more willing to use it as connection tool, as communication method, as healing practice, not just as physical pleasure, but as relationship glue. Let me tell you what you need to understand about this reconciliation. The core truths you need to carry. First, this conflict was not wasted. It was painful, but it was also purposeful. It taught you both something about yourselves, about each other, about the relationship, about communication, about needs, about boundaries, about repair. Conflict that leads to growth and deeper connection isn't failure, it's evolution. It's the relationship maturing, learning, becoming stronger through challenge. Second, making love as reconciliation is sacred. This isn't casual physical connection. This is intimacy at its most meaningful. This is bodies expressing what hearts feel. This is vulnerability meeting vulnerability. This is trust rebuilding. This is love manifesting physically. Honor it as such. Be present for it. Let it be the healing, reconnecting, recommitting experience it's meant to be. Don't rush it. Don't minimize it. Let it be profound, because it is profound. Third, reconciliation is a process, not a moment. The lovemaking is significant. The conversation is significant. But full healing takes time, takes consistent positive experiences, rebuilding trust, takes sustained changed behavior demonstrating that lessons learned are being applied. So after this intimate reunion, continue the work, continue communicating, continue showing up, continue choosing each other. Don't assume one powerful moment of reconnection means everything is permanently fixed. Maintain the connection you've reestablished. Fourth, you both chose this. You both chose reconciliation. You both chose to work through conflict instead of walking away. You both chose vulnerability instead of protection. You both chose each other over the hurt. That mutual choice is powerful, it's meaningful, it's evidence of commitment, it's proof that this relationship matters to both of you. Let that choice inform how you move forward. Let it create gratitude. Let it motivate continued effort. You both chose this. Honor that choice through action. And fifth, intimacy heals, but it doesn't replace necessary conversations. The lovemaking will heal things words couldn't fully heal, will reconnect you in ways conversation alone couldn't, but it doesn't replace the need for ongoing communication, for addressing issues, for continuing to work on whatever caused the conflict. Physical intimacy is part of reconciliation, not all of it. Don't use it as substitute for emotional work. Use it as complement to emotional work. Let it enhance verbal communication, not replace it. Here's what you need to do right now. How to navigate this reconciliation wisely. First, be open to the first move, whether you're making it or receiving it. Don't let pride block reconciliation. Don't make them work so hard to reach out that they give up. If you want this relationship, if you want reconciliation, be available for it, be receptive to it, meet vulnerability with vulnerability, meet reaching out with reaching back. Don't play games. Don't test them. Don't make reconciliation harder than it needs to be. Second, be honest in the reconciliation conversation. Really honest about what hurt, about what you need, about what you're willing to change and what you need them to change. Don't minimize your hurt to make reconciliation easier. Don't avoid difficult topics to keep the peace. Real reconciliation requires real honesty, requires actually addressing the issues. So be brave enough to be truthful and be open enough to hear their truth even when it's uncomfortable. Third, let the physical intimacy happen organically. Don't force it. Don't rush into it if you're not ready. Don't use it as band-aid over unresolved hurt, but also don't resist it if it feels right. If the emotional reconnection is creating desire for physical reconnection, honor that. Let the intimacy unfold naturally. Let it be what both of you want in the moment. Let it express what you're both feeling. Trust your bodies to know when the time is right. Fourth, be present during the lovemaking. Don't be in your head. Don't be analyzing. Don't be worrying about whether this means everything is fixed or what happens next. Be in your body. Be in the moment. Be with them. Feel everything. Express everything. Let this be the healing, reconnecting, meaning-loaded experience it's meant to be. Presence is what makes intimacy intimate. So be there, fully, completely. And fifth, continue the work after the reunion. Don't assume one powerful moment fixes everything permanently. Relationships are living things. They require ongoing care, ongoing effort, ongoing attention. So after this intimate reconciliation, keep communicating, keep being vulnerable, keep choosing each other, keep working on the issues that caused conflict. Let this reunion be the beginning of a stronger relationship, not the end of growth work. The reconciliation is beautiful. Make it sustainable through continued effort. This person is going to make love to you after conflict, after distance, after hurt, after reconciliation. And that lovemaking is going to be profound, meaningful, healing, loaded with everything you've both been feeling. Every apology, every forgiveness, every I missed you, every I choose you, every I love you. All of it expressed through touch, through intimacy, through bodies communicating what words tried to say but couldn't fully express. And it's going to change things. It's going to heal wounds. It's going to reconnect you. It's going to seal the reconciliation. It's going to prove that desire survived conflict, that attraction wasn't killed by distance. That intimacy is still possible, still powerful, still capable of creating the kind of connection that makes everything else worth it.